Okay, I just want to cover a few more things before we finish up this last lesson. So, one thing is managing remote repositories. We already covered this a little bit, but this is a case where we want to set the upstream or the origin. So if you're dealing with a forked repo, you have something called upstream, which would be the one that you forked. So if you want to pull, so origin would be your repository, and if you're just dealing with your own repository, that's the only one you have to worry about. If you have a forked repository, you have someone else's that you forked, that's called upstream, and you might want to pull changes from that before you start working, and you almost definitely do. And then if you typically you would push your changes just to your origin, but then you can merge your fork with, you could try to merge your fork or your branch with the upstream. And git pull and git push by default would use origin, which is your own repository. Okay. So finally, there's a couple customization things that are handy. So one is tab completion. So if you click on this link here, there's ways to install Git Tab Completion, which will allow Git to know which files, like for example, have been edited or added that you would want to add, so that when you type git add, you can tab and it will know which ones, instead of just using normal bash completion. So I don't think I want to have you install this just this minute because we're running low on time, but for those of you following on YouTube or those of you here in class, you can go ahead and install this after class. There's a few different ways to do it. There's also a second link here, which is a slightly different version of tab completion. So you can go ahead and read that. I think this first version is probably the easiest. The other thing I wanted to show you is how to change your prompt to show Git repo information. So this is a really cool function that a colleague of mine named Yoshiki made, and it creates this function called egit, and then this function called dgit. And so what you want to do is just copy this whole block of text. And then we're going to go to our home directory, so cd the home directory, and then we can either do Emacs or nano. That's what I'll do. Bash profile. And remember, at the very beginning of the quarter, we edited our bash profile to customize it, right? We added maybe some aliases, or we changed some colors. So if you just scroll down to the end of your .bash profile, I've got a bunch of junk in mine, but you can see I've already added this part. But go ahead and scroll down all the way to the end and paste that text that you just copied into your .bash profile. Hit Control X. And then it's going to ask you if you want to save. You say hit Y. It asks you what file you want to write. You just hit Enter. So we've now added that text to our bash profile. We want to source .bash profile. Now we can go into Git, say hello world, and now we're going to type egit. So what this is going to do is it no longer shows us the whole path of our working directory and all this other information. It's a customized prompt. Shows you the time. It then shows you the name of the repository you're in, an @ symbol, and then the name of your branch. So we're in Hello World repository at my branch. Actually, this is not, I should correct myself, this is not the name of the repository, this is actually the name of the working directory. So if we were to make a directory temp, it would now update that. So this shows us the present working directory and then the name of the branch. So if we go up to, we change into my repo, you can notice when we're not in any repo, it just, there's no branch listed. But if we go into my repo, it now says I'm in my repo and I'm in master. So this is a really handy thing we can do. We can say get status. Again, it tells us we're in branch master, nothing to commit. So this is just a really handy way to update your prompt to show you where you are and which branch you're in. And so to activate that again, you type egit, and you can do your git magic. And then when you're done, you type dgit, and it will bring you back to your regular prompt. If you forget the deactivate command, if you were just to exit out of your terminal, next time you open up a new terminal, it would go back to the original. So that's a handy little command. And again, tab completion, I highly recommend you set that up. And when you're ready to do a little more advanced stuff, you can try these last two examples that we didn't have time to cover. So that concludes this course, Python for Data Analysis. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks everyone on the interwebs for joining. Please leave comments if you want to leave comments for me, and I can try to improve the course. And yeah, happy coding.